Deadly runway crash. At least 2 people are dead and a dozen passengers hurt. New information this morning after a plane hit a fire truck as it landed at LaGuardia Airport.
Today's cold front likely to bring breezy conditions and high fire danger. Cooler air will come along with the front as well. I'll show you how much colder it will get.
Hubert Davis's future. UNC is weighing its options after a disappointing season for the Tar Heels. The decision the university is facing after another early exit from March Madness. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It is back to the grind here on this Monday. We're glad you're joining us. We have a lot to tell you about. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Lemongood. Had a moment to take a stroll through Dix Park over the weekend, so that was always nice. And today you may have the chance to do the same thing, Elizabeth. But you are tracking that next weather maker people should know about this week.
Absolutely. So this cold front is going to swing through. It just popped a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings from West Virginia down toward Virginia. Those have expired, but it does look like it will not bring us very much rain. Certainly not. We're expecting any severe storms. It's only a 20% chance of rain. The cold front comes through right around lunchtime and may produce a few isolated showers, especially in our eastern counties. This is a live look at Durham this morning, and we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds as the sun comes up. It'll be breezy today. Right now, our wind is southwest at 9. It's very warm. Of course, we were in the upper 80s yesterday, still holding on to some of that warmth. We're in the mid 60s. With breezy conditions and low humidity this afternoon, we're looking at high fire danger from the Triangle area westward, so you're encouraged not to do any outdoor burning. Everybody's seeing those mid to upper 60s this morning, and it will be another warm day. It'll be warmest before the front comes through right around lunchtime at around 80, and then the temperatures will start to drop. We could get cold enough in a few days for some patchy frost. I'll show you when. Coming up, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center for our good friends coming in from the Garner, Johnston County area, giving you a live look at I-40 and Jones Sausage Road. Those are the westbound lanes heading away from us this morning, flowing at a nice steady clip. So wherever you're headed, coming in, you will get to your destination on time. And we're not seeing any delays, relatively speaking, on any of our major routes. That's a crash on Buffalo Road right near I-540. We're not seeing any delays on Buffalo Road right now either. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news, we are working to learn what caused this serious crash in Wake County. This happened just after 1 this morning on US 64 in Wendell. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker saw 2 badly damaged cars. One of them flipped on top of the other. The road did reopen around 3:30. We're also trying to learn whether anyone was hurt.
And more breaking news that we're following from overnight. A pilot and a co-pilot are dead after an Air Canada Express plane crashed into a fire truck at LaGuardia International Airport. More than a dozen passengers are hurt, and that crash happened just before midnight. The plane had just landed from a flight from Montreal to New York with 76 passengers and 4 crew members on board. The NYPD says that it appears the truck was a Port Authority of New York vehicle that was headed to some other scene. Sources say that police officers who were on that truck suffered broken bones. The airport is expected to be shut down until 2 p.m. this afternoon as authorities investigate the crash.
Happening today, ICE agents are being sent to airports across the country to help with security lines. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at RDU this morning. And Kelsey, those long security lines at other major airports across the country, that's because of the partial government shutdown. How are things looking at RDU?
Hey, Renee. So this morning at RDU, we're not seeing too much activity here in the security line. It looks like people are able to easily go through. But starting today, ICE agents will be deployed to major airports across the country to help with long TSA lines. For now, the Department of Homeland Security says RDU is not on that list, but Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta is. So check out this video of long TSA lines there over the weekend. Some passengers say wait times were more than 2 hours. More than 400 TSA agents have quit since the start of the partial government shutdown last month. Tara Madden arrived to RDU at 4:30 this morning for her 7 a.m. flight, just in case the security line was long.
I figure I was up and awake anyway. I'll sit here and read and, take my time. Things will fall out the way they're supposed to.
And Tara texted me probably about 30 minutes ago whenever she got to her gate and said it only took her 3 minutes to get through that TSA line. So we did reach out to RDU officials to ask about if they're anticipating any delays with security lines. They weren't able to confirm that. They just say that people should arrive to the airport 2 hours ahead of their flight. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center. We now have a new update on that very serious crash that happened at LaGuardia Airport. NBC News now reporting that the Port Authority fire truck there was actually responding to a report of an odor on a United flight. The fire truck that collided again with that Air Canada flight last night was responding to an unrelated issue. Now, Port Authority Executive Director Catherine Garcia says in a news conference this morning that the vehicle was responding to that aircraft operated by United that had reported an issue with an odor. That's why they were out there during the time of the landing and then eventually the crash. So, of course, we're going to continue to stay on updates here in the WRAL Live Center this morning.
Laura, thank you. Breaking news, a suspect wanted in connection to a triple murder case in Robeson County has been arrested. Robeson County Sheriff Bernice Wilkins posted this picture to Facebook just after 4 this morning. In the post, he said more information would be released later today. 3 bodies were found on a property on Melinda Road near Pembroke shortly after 6:30 yesterday morning. The victims were 28-year-old Tristan Goins, 51-year-old Howard Jones, and 35-year-old Ashley Jacobs. The sheriff's office says the suspect was arrested after a standoff in Red Springs.
UNC and Duke women's basketball teams are moving on to the Sweet 16 in March Madness. The Tar Heels beat Maryland yesterday to punch their second straight ticket to the Sweet 16. UNC will either play the winner of tonight's game between UConn and Syracuse. UNC will play on either Friday or Saturday. The Duke women's team will play LSU after beating Baylor yesterday, and this is the Blue Devils' third straight appearance in the Sweet 16. That game will be on Friday. NC State was eliminated yesterday after losing to Michigan 92-63. And Duke is the only men's team from the Triangle still playing. And now we know who their Sweet 16 opponent will be, St. John's. That team advanced to the game yesterday, beating Kansas on a buzzer beater. Duke will play St. John's on Friday night, and that is in D.C. UNC is out of the tournament, and we could learn whether head coach Hubert Davis's job is safe. UNC leadership says that they are evaluating that program, and Davis too. Let's bring in Carly Haynes. She's live in Chapel Hill this morning for that story. Carly, the team's performance during March Madness, that's part of what makes Davis's future a bit uncertain right now.
Chris, UNC gave up a 19-point lead against 11-seed VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And UNC confirmed that Davis's weekly radio show, which was scheduled to air tonight, has been postponed. Davis was handpicked to be the successor of Roy Williams, UNC's former head basketball coach, back in 2021. In his very first year, Davis and the Tar Heels made it to the national championship as an 8 seed. Since then, North Carolina has made it past the first round of the NCAA tournament only one time. And while we're waiting for any official decision, WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy puts it all into perspective.
Have both of your major sports struggling, I think it is a tough look for UNC at a time where they're going through a major debate about what to do with the basketball arena, at a time where the longtime AD, Bubba Cunningham, is about to step aside in place of Steve Newmark.
This is a developing story, but keep in mind it has been a very busy few days here in Chapel Hill. The women's basketball team, for example, hosted the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament at Carmichael Arena. And then over on the football side of things, they will have their pro day for NFL scouts today. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
Let's get you up to date on the war in the Middle East now. Time is running out on President Donald Trump's ultimatum for Iran. On Saturday, the president gave Iran 48 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to get oil tankers moving again. He says if that doesn't happen, then the U.S. will begin targeting Iranian power plants. So far, it appears that Iran is not backing down. Iran says if the U.S. attacks its power plants, it will completely close the strait and target energy and desalination plants across the region. Following the threat, oil prices rose to $114 a barrel. We are tracking the rising gas prices from the war. The latest numbers from AAA are out this morning. In Raleigh, a gallon of gas is averaging $3.76. That's up $1 from a month ago. Gas is just a touch cheaper in Fayetteville, averaging at $3.68 a gallon. In Rocky Mount, gas is at $3.72 a gallon. You can find the lowest gas prices in your area with the WRAL Fuel Tracker. Just open the app and search fuel. Still ahead in less than 10 minutes, farmers in our area are dealing with the strain of rising diesel prices, the tough decisions they are now being forced to make.
A hand recount will begin this morning in the Republican primary election between Senate Leader Phil Berger and Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. Berger trails Page by 23 votes. Election officials have already completed a machine recount, and the 23-vote margin has not changed. Guilford and Rockingham counties must now conduct a hand recount. Starting at 10 a.m., the State Board of Elections will randomly draw 3 voting sites, 2 in Guilford County and 1 in Rockingham County. And this is meant to determine which locations will have all their ballots hand counted as part of the sample recount there. And if that count differs significantly from the machine recount, well, the board would order a full hand recount of all ballots in the contest. You can watch more about that race on our WRAL YouTube channel and find the results of that precinct drawing happening later this morning, statements from both candidates, and the questions being raised about this election's authenticity.
A new plea from the Guthrie family. Savannah Guthrie is calling for the return of her mother, Nancy, where the case stands more than a month and a half after her mother's disappearance.
And our next weather maker is a cold front coming across our area. It's really not going to bring much rain along with it, but it will bring some winds. I'll show you what that means for us this afternoon coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, our next weather maker is this cold front. It's dropping into Virginia, really, at this point. It's going to cross our area closer to lunchtime. Very little rain left with it. There have been, just in the last hour, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. Those yellow boxes pop up. I wouldn't expect to see any severe weather with this front as it comes through here, but it will be breezy, and it will only bring a small chance of showers. Our best chance will be east of the triangle, mainly along and east of I-95. Here's a live look at Durham this morning. As the sun comes up, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. It'll cloud up a bit when the cold front comes through midday. 66 in Fayetteville, 63 in Roanoke Rapids, and 64 in Durham. So we are still holding on to that warmth that we saw yesterday. I feel like yesterday somebody started shaking the pine trees. Boy, so much pollen everywhere, and those pollen counts will be high, likely for the next several weeks. Speaking of high, temperatures will be warm too. Before the front comes through at lunchtime, we'll see temperatures at almost 80 degrees.
Elizabeth, the dreaded pollen count. Ooh, I'm feeling it. Hey, weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We're going to start with I-40 and Aviation Parkway. Traffic is picking up a little bit, but flowing at a nice steady clip. And speaking of the airport, many of you might be planning your spring break, the getaway, heading to the airport right now. We've checked all the routes. All those routes are delay-free at this hour, so you will get to the airport on time. Coming up, we'll take a look at, see if we're picking up any delays on any other major routes heading into the Raleigh-Wade County area.
And Ken, we know drivers out there are frustrated about the rising cost of gas. Well, the rising cost of fuel also weighing heavily on farmers in North Carolina and across the country. From running farm equipment to transporting produce, farmers rely on diesel fuel to make their living. We spoke with several farmers at the State Farmers Market, and we asked them how they'll be able to sustain business at the farmers market if oil prices continue to soar. They say the rising prices are forcing some tough decisions.
You know, you cut back on other things if you want to continue doing this.
I've seen diesel very high, much higher than what it is right now. So, I mean, I've made it through all the years. We're trying to hold the prices down to what they've been for the last year or two, and it's difficult.
The war on Iran has also caused fertilizer prices to soar. In the U.S., the price of nitrogen fertilizer has increased more than 30% since the Strait of Hormuz closed.
The U.S. Senate is one step closer to confirming Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin for Homeland Security Secretary, and a final vote could come as early as today. Last night, the Senate voted to limit debate on appointment, setting things up for a confirmation vote. And if approved, Mullin would be replacing Secretary Kristi Noem. She was fired by President Trump earlier this month. Mullin is a member of the Cherokee Nation, and if confirmed, he would be the second Native American to serve as a cabinet member.
The Guthrie family is once again asking the Tucson, Arizona community for help. Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, was last seen on January 31st. The 84-year-old is believed to have been kidnapped from her home. In a post on social media yesterday, Savannah asked people who live in the area to search their memories around the time of Nancy's disappearance. And the post reads in part, "We miss our mom with every breath, and we cannot be in peace until she is home. The family previously announced a $1 million reward for information leading to their mother's recovery.
Today, Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools, they are going to be in the process of inviting people to join the conversation about the possible closure of multiple elementary schools. The school board says that Glenwood, Ephesus, and Sewell are being considered for closure or consolidation. And this is because of declining enrollment numbers and funding. Tonight's meeting will be at the East Chapel Hill High School auditorium, and that starts at 6:30 p.m. if you want to attend that.
6:17 now. We're going to take you to Hawaii, normally a place of paradise, but far from it, as it is seeing catastrophic flooding, the worst flooding in 20 years because of so much rain, Elizabeth.
Yeah, 40 to 50 inches across some of the islands there. And, you know, it's an area that tends to get a lot of rain, but this is a specific pattern that brings a lot more rain than normal. Of course, as you said, you know, it's been more than 20 years since it looked like this. So this is a Kona low, and a Kona low sits near the islands and pushes rain onto the leeward side. Kona means leeward side, and that's typically the dry side of the islands. The rain, the wind typically comes from the same direction across the Hawaiian island. So one side of the island is usually wet with a nice upslope flow, and the other side is dry. But the Kona winds means that the rain falls on the other side of the island, and in a lot of cases, those islands are a little bit more deserty, and so they can't handle all of this rainfall. So that's what's happening right now. They've seen, again, in 10 days as much as 50 inches of rain, and so they've evacuated a lot of people, and they've likely got a couple more days left of this pattern. Our pattern right now is a cold front dropping southward. We're looking at that potential for some scattered showers later on today. Futurecast isn't showing much rain with this, but it will become pretty breezy mid to late morning. Winds gusting 20, maybe even up to 30 miles per hour. So we do have high fire danger. Our best chance of rain will come in the afternoon, mostly along and east of I-95. You can see that a little bit closer to the coast later on today, and then we'll see some clearing behind it. Taking a look at Durham this morning, we're looking at a southwest wind right now, 9 miles per hour. It'll become breezier a bit later on this morning. Temperatures are in the mid 60s right now. Our next weather maker after today will be another cold front that'll drop in on us late Friday into early Saturday. You can see as we pause it there at around 6 a.m. some showers to our north, but it's out of here by lunchtime. So it's looking like Friday night into Saturday as our next best chance of rain. It's possible that we would have some stronger storms along this front, but it's also, 5 days out. So pinpointing that, it will take a few more days. The amount of rain, looking at this though, is still likely to be only around 1/10 of an inch. Maybe we'll see that go up as the computer models sample this storm a little bit more. The next thing for us that we're watching is much colder temperatures. From 79 at lunchtime, we'll drop to 39 tomorrow morning, and we'll keep it in the 50s tomorrow. So back to sweaters, 36 on Wednesday morning. So that could end up being our next chance for some patchy frost. But then by Friday, we're up to 83 degrees, and then we have that chance of some showers again for Saturday, and turning cool to Saturday's only 58 degrees.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, Elizabeth, thanks a lot. Hey, let's start outside, give you a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning, flowing at a nice steady clip, actually, even though traffic is beginning to pick up just a bit, but we're not seeing any delays on any of those routes coming in on that southern loop of the Beltline. And a reminder, that southern loop is the I-40, 440 interchange in Southeast Raleigh all the way over to US 1 in Cary. We're also not seeing any delays on any of the routes coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Text alert scams. There are scammers that are hoping to get your attention while you're scrolling on your phone. 5 on your side has what you need to know to keep yourself safe.
Gambling growth. North Carolinians have bet billions of dollars over the last 2 years. How it's extending beyond just sports.
It turns out North Carolinians have bet more than $13 billion through legal online sports books in the past 2 years. And now there are ways to bet on not just sports, but global events, elections, even TV shows. America's betting boom is underway.
You can bet on the most wild things these days. And you got Kalshi and Polymarket, where you can bet on if the sky's going to be blue and if Donald Trump's going to burp today. And there's $200 million in the pool.
And you may be wondering, what does that explosion of options mean for all of us? Well, you can watch our new documentary, The Gamble, on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app, and the WRAL YouTube channel. We explore how we got here and what's next. And you can read a little bit more about the betting boom on WRAL.com.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
New records for BTS and the new version of SNL.
Yeah, Ken Smith is tracking all these stories this morning and what's trending.
My goodness, how about BTS, right? That K-pop group setting records after releasing its first album in 4 years. The album is called WRAL, and it is now Spotify's most streamed album in a single day this year. BTS is also Spotify's most streamed K-pop album ever.
You may be wondering, what were they doing for 4 years? Well, they were all finishing up their mandatory military service in South Korea. So the band got back together. They had a big concert in Seoul, and now the global tour starts next month.
A lot of people are excited about that. Here's something exciting as well. Saturday Night Live UK available to stream in the US now after debuting over the weekend. You can watch the first episode on Peacock. The first episode was hosted by SNL alum legend Tina Fey.
It looks like the numbers are reporting that nearly 230,000 viewers watched this, and Jamie Dornan is set to host this upcoming week, followed by Riz Ahmed. So a little different across the pond there.
A good American export. Yeah. People taking advantage of this nice weather we've had may notice something new on Cary Greenways. 2 efforts launched this month that the town says are making the greenways safer and more fun. The town is adding artistic centerline striping in key locations along the Black Creek and White Oak Greenways now through mid-April. 10 new eco-counters are also being installed along heavily used greenways. These counters will help the town understand how people and visitors use the trail system.
Your time is 6:26 this morning. Hubert Davis's future. UNC is weighing their options after the Tar Heels' early exit in the men's NCAA tournament. What we could learn about the direction of the team for next year.
ICE at airports. President Trump is deploying federal agents to help with long security lines. The effects from the government shutdown that we are seeing here and across the country.
And I'm tracking a cold front that'll bring us breezy conditions later this afternoon. I'll show you our chance for rain to go along with it coming up.